Do we have an intro we want to do? Are we good to go? Should I just start?
Star Trek, y'all. Get wrecked, y'all. That was it. I actually had...
Alright, awesome.
I
cool.
like, in the second after you said, do we have an intro, I had lyrics, and then I fucked it up, so we're just done.
I'm the professor of Borgonomics.
Alright, cool.
Ernest Borgnine.
It's like the Borg in economics. Borgonomics. Do you know what the Borg is?
Yeah,
Do
listen,
you?
This is an important expectation for viewers. I know the least about Star Trek. I do know what Borg is, but I otherwise know by far the least about Star Trek of anybody in this call, I guarantee you.
Okay, good. Alright,
hello.
yeah, so this is, hi, this is Star Trek Resurgence, which came out like 2 or 3 months ago, May, I think, and it's, this is a Telltale-esque game made by ex-Telltale developers, and I looked up their studio before the episode started, but I forgot the fucking name of it.
Do people know that this
credits
game
show it
exists?
to us? Kind of. It's weird. It doesn't seem to have made much of an impact. I think it's Brunner House Studios, and I just noticed that one of the creators' names is Kevin Brunner, so maybe, I don't know. They're also doing like Tales of the Borderlands, the new stuff, so...
I wonder which one of these guys was an asshole to me at fucking PAX. I'll never forget.
You sure it's one of these people? I mean...
It's one of them. And I'm gonna find out the hard way.
Alright, so let's jump in here. So I finished the game, once, so we're gonna start a new game here. So fortunately I will not be going in blind.
Everybody else is, though, right?
I have played about the first 45 minutes.
This looks completely like that text, that typeface, that looked like default Courier. What was that?
The game's interface is not incredible. This game was kind of panned for a number of problems that are not wrong, like until today. Oh crap! There should be subtitles. Fucking... Here we go. Okay.
After spending too many months piecing our ship back together, we're finally about to venture.
Turn that on every single fucking time. All right. Like there are problems with this game's controls. There are problems with the game's
They're ready for something.
like I wasn't able to change the resolution when I first played the game above 1080p, which was real fun playing this game on a 4K TV at 1080p. You can do that now. The game is locked to 30 FPS, except for occasionally when it just isn't locked to 30 FPS anymore.
In this case,
is
good.
It's as a PC game, it's not. It's got all those sorts of problems that people rail at PC games for. That said, I think aside from the technical issues, the game is pretty neat. This is a straight up Telltale game. That will become very apparent very quickly here.
Okay, what is Jara?
She is a human forehead alien hybrid. They'll tell us. I forget the name of her species. They showed up once in an episode of Deep Space Nine. This is post Nemesis era, so it's a few it's a few years after Voyager ended.
joined Starfleet.
Got it.
There's a
But
reason I'm not a pilot.
they were
try it
they were
sometime.
in deep space the whole time. They're pretty much wearing these outfits. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying in Voyager.
That guy does have a pretty
Yeah,
good
these
point,
are-
which is that, most of the time in Star Trek, as far as I can tell, it's basically just like being on a giant cruise
I
where
hadn't noticed.
10% of passengers die every
on my
week,
way to
which
my first
is
assignment.
basically just a cruise, actually, now that I
When we
think
get
about
to the
it.
starbase, I'm
Yeah.
transferring on to the Resolute.
So am I.
It won't be easy for Jara to step in at the 11th hour like this. But if she's half the officer I knew she could become...
So the gimmick here basically is that I believe Jara is an officer and the other character,
Yeah, we got
Carter,
two
is,
protagonists.
Lower Decks. Not Lower
Yeah,
Decks,
like-
the comedy series, but yeah.
Specifically, Jara is an officer and Martinez is a non-commissioned officer.
I really enjoy that. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
The cool thing about like being a lower deck officer in Star Trek is that you can just be super unprofessional in a way that the officers can't.
Mm-hmm. What section
Oh,
would you
cool.
be?
Hey, I have a GeForce game driver available.
Did they have
So
like
glad.
a jonglers or
There we go.
jesters
All right.
section of just like
Well,
wandering
okay.
cruise ship entertainment?
So, what sector is working at the fucking bar? Is that just security?
Very
I'm
edge of
guessing.
Federation space.
Working at the...
Long
I'd be a
road.
fucking kick-ass space bartender.
You'd be
There's
amazing.
gotta be like a personnel services kind of division
For one
thing
thing,
for
like,
that. I mean,
every
there's
non-social
you know,
aspect of that job
What color
is
is
dead fucking easy. You just push a button and it makes a drink.
Commander, I'm not
it
usually
would
such a nervous wreck, by the way.
maybe
I actually did
blue.
well at the academy.
Blue?
Oh yeah.
I guess.
I
for
mean,
bartenders,
counselors
yeah.
are considered part of
Yeah.
like
Sounds familiar.
medical,
It's a
and that
tactical
kind of feels like
simulator
where
that
you'd
used to
put
Kobayashi
like
in the room
bartenders
like
and
a
chefs and
picnic on
stuff.
Tars 5. Anyway.
Yeah.
I finished in the
Here's
top
the deal.
20.
I'd be the bartender.
Not
Everyone
just in
on the
my
ship
class.
would like. I would
All
like
time.
every week
In
I'd have like a
history
new
of the
trivia or
academy.
something, like pub quiz or like Tiki night. Everyone on the
was
ship
tough.
would fucking hate me.
Set my mind.
They
No,
would
dude.
fucking hate it.
You've never watched a Star Trek, so you have no idea. They're all fucking nerds, man.
Yeah,
one
it
time
is-
Data
it is
just
space
did like
nerds.
2 hours of a poem about his fucking cat, and they all sat there politely. Like, there
Shows
are
up in
times when people are
multiple
just playing an
episodes.
instrument. Think of an instrument. It's not that. It's a more annoying instrument. And
No,
people
see,
just sit
that's
there
it.
and enjoy it.
Like everybody's a classics
Koblia,
nerd.
that's the... yeah.
Here's what I need you to imagine. I am this ship's version of
Absolutely
Carrot
crushed the
Top.
Torvalent
Like
test.
I would be like
Oh.
Carrot Top would play me in the
You finished
episode.
what, like the top 3?
I would love that.
That would be me.
I would do security, obviously. When I was a child, my dad told me that I would be great at running security at a
Sorry,
casino.
I didn't
I never
realize
understood what that meant, and I never asked.
I just came off the shuttle and was
Oh no, I get it.
solid ground.
The pleasure is
Because
mine.
like that's all about awareness. Like
Paul
the pit
Calloway.
boss at a casino, like you got to know what's going on. You got to be on top of it.
Yeah.
You're like an officer.
It's in the concourse just ahead.
I like the idea
Yep.
that if Worf had decided not to join Starfleet, he'd be like hanging out as the bouncer at a fucking Ferengi casino or some shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It is. Okay, there has to be an episode at some point that's just Roadhouse, but with a Klingon, right?
Maybe the one where they did it in the holodeck. Maybe that one's pretty much.
I
mean,
feel
the-
like that's something that you would see more on Deep Space Nine and in Quark's Bar.
Yeah. Worf was on Deep Space Nine, but I don't think he did not
I
like
remember
Quark.
my duty.
They were not.
Commander Ermine.
Well,
is
they
a
probably
great
turned into friends
son
eventually,
of
but they
the
were not
solemnly
openly
pleased.
friends.
There was an entire country western episode that was fucking awesome. Might have been a
you
two-parter.
alright?
It was fucking awesome.
I'm just... Well, I'm not sure where my departure dock is. The Resolute's gonna leave without me.
Look here. The Resolute is leaving from this dock.
I've been playing so much Baldur's Gate 3, I
right.
was expecting a fucking skill check dice roll to pop up for this shit.
It's like what you didn't like take fucking AutoCAD
Thanks so much,
in
Commander.
college, dude. Starfleet, dude.
Apparently, in the lore, a common command track is to just be the pilot of the ship until you get promoted to, like, first officer and then become a captain.
Starbase 128 has 4 docks.
I seem to recall that when I was the captain in our Star Trek VR
I'll
session, it
replicate
didn't
myself
go
in Neo once
particularly
I'm on
well.
board.
Yeah, I think we blew the ship up like 4 or 5 times. We've been
was
responsible for the
fun.
destruction of more Enterprises than any other crew.
First officer.
It was
I took
definitely
that
fun. in
really
retrospect.
seriously. I did not want to be the loser. I wanted you guys to be the losers, so I took it really seriously.
I do remember you being the best captain out of the 4 of us.
I was so serious. I was like, I have to be good at this, or I'm not gonna live with myself.
I mean, having you at the weapons console was fun because you just kept firing torpedoes.
There wasn't too much
Well-
trouble getting here. This storm
My
isn't
favorite
making
moment of
anything
that
easy for us,
episode,
right?
unfortunately, did not get
I
captured
know
by
conditions
Josh,
are
but you
less
can
than
hear
ideal
it.
at the moment.
And it's when
That's a bit
Mumbles
But otherwise,
asks, so like,
I apologize.
Rutsguard, who do you think is gonna die
storm is
first?
unlike
And since I had the
anything I've
VR
seen
set on, I just like looked at her and I just silently gestured at Chris.
We're grateful you were able to come fill our first.
Did that not make it into the episode?
That didn't make it into the episode, you didn't see it.
Oh, damn.
Read and everything I've heard, we're lucky you were available to us. Coming from a.
So I want to demonstrate something here. This game has timers. What do you think happens when the timers get hit to when they run out?
Quiet, just quiet.
You bang.
You bang.
No, nothing happens. They're not really timed. This
Okay,
works great if you, like me, never let them run out until the very end of the game. but
oh my god.
there's no. It doesn't matter.
That's bullshit, man, because I always get so tense about timers with dialogue stuff. I'm like, I'm still reading, So, that sucks. Just don't have a fucking timer, dipshits.
What exactly
I
have you heard?
mean, the only thing I can
get
think
it.
of that makes sense for it is like
Received Starfleet Award of Valor during the
it doesn't make sense in certain like walk and talk scenarios for you to just
USS Endeavor.
be able to hold your answer indefinitely.
Very lucky.
Like we were going down the elevator there.
It solves a problem. It allows the scenes to remain dynamic, while also allowing for the possibility that they can pause and let you figure something out. On some level, it might and it's more elegant than just like slowing it down if you're taking too long.
Yeah.
And she doesn't look
Like
so
it gets
But I
the
feel
job
like-
done because again, like you always chose it before it ran out, and they got the experience they wanted. But like, yeah, no, it makes
was an
sense.
Accident?
Equipment malfunction. An accident suggests
Yeah,
fault, but
and
no one's
I can also respect that like
It was a
the
planned
game
test,
doesn't
but the
really
warp
work
core
if
pushed
two
down
of its
its
most
limits.
principal characters are allowed to just
Destabilized the
not
dilithium,
say
there was a runaway
anything
reaction,
ever.
and the warp core
Like that kind of worked in The Walking Dead
We thought we
with
could reach a higher resonant frequency, but
fuck, I've forgotten his
Lee.
name.
It
Who's
was
the
more
protagonist? Yeah, Lee. Um,
cost us our first officer.
it doesn't really work if you're being the Riker or the Spock on a
At the end
ship.
of the day, we're all responsible for each other. That's what it means.
I
to be
just would have liked to have known. I would have liked a
can't
loading
even
screen
begin
that
to
tells
imagine
me,
what
hey,
that
don't
must have
worry
been
about
like
it,
for you.
bud.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
I like it because it gives
It
you the
does weigh
impression
heavy.
of like this is how long
There are
you
some
have
things you
to
can't
sort of
forget.
naturally respond to keep the conversation going. So if your goal is to sort of like
Did you lose anyone?
keep that
Most-
tennis volley of a conversation back and forth,
Many.
this is how long before it starts being awkward and we're
I'll
gonna freeze the
just say,
game.
You have big shoes
Yeah.
to fill.
Man, oh shit.
Listen.
I've been learning how to make games
I
good
realize
though.
you've known
I
Captain
should
Solana
finally
for
make
quite
my
some time,
like
and I'm sure you're ready to
paranoia
bring your best.
first-person RPG
But I
project.
should warn you that
Where
when
in the
Captain announced you
debriefing,
would
there's a
be
timer
your
for the
first
dialogue
officer,
options, and all of the
those who
dialogue
felt it
options
was
are
a
going in
mistake,
different directions,
that
upside
should have
down.
promoted from within.
I would die.
You might want to tread lightly at first.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what does happen
until
in
they come
Paradox.
to
That
value
would
his
kill me.
contributions as much as he does.
I would include
Trust is
like
earned.
a special
Sounds like I
setting
have my
where
work cut out for
if
me.
you answer every
I can't
dialogue
remember.
option within the first 0.25 seconds, you always get the ideal result,
just figured it
regardless
was
of
better
whether
to
you're
know what
picking the
you're
right
walking
options or
into.
not.
Of course.
Starfleet has assigned us a high-priority mission to the Hotari region. I'll let the captain brief you on board. I know he's eager to see you.
Will we be mission ready in time?
We have every intention.
So this is not episodic,
Crew
is
has
it?
been working around the clock to get the ship ready.
It has a
Is
sort of
kind of-
semi-episodic format where you could like see where they would cut the episodes if they'd done it in the old style. But no, this is a complete package from the beginning.
It's more like chapters, and each chapter gets a sort of like title card drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Heavy Rain.
Stuck.
Yeah, a bit.
Except not terrible.
Just the thing.
This is plasma torch. There we go.
I love okay, so this is my one Star Trek like nerd cred thing, I guess. Not actually cred. This is like a Star Trek nerd proximity thing that I genuinely have. Is when I was a child, I had a bunch of like Star Trek toys for whatever reason. I think somebody must have given it to me, but
the good old Playmates
this
era.
kid's a nerd. I know what nerds like.
Yeah, he probably likes the Star Trek, but I really enjoyed at the time how chunky and inscrutable all the tools were, and I still enjoy it. Turns out.
And I mean, that's exactly the way that they were, like the props in the show itself. So,
right.
Like one of their favorite materials for adding detail to things was just to get a bunch of like black tape and make outlines around like panels and stuff. Like it was a different era of television making where not everyone had every episode didn't have the budget of a movie. And that is something that I like about this game, is that it very much leans into that. These are the older shuttles. These are the really blocky shuttles that had to look like that because that was how that was the way they could build the full-sized sets for these things. I couldn't do the curved one very well.
One of these things about 5 minutes in ZBrush.
Like now.
Feels like they removed the 30 FPS cap, actually. This does not. Maybe this is 30 FPS. Maybe my eyes are just going, but...
Does it feel less cinematic?
I can understand a certain argument for that if you're doing something that you really want to make look like a TV show. But this game does not really benefit from being locked to 30 FPS. So here we are. We're playing our second protagonist here.
Engineering.
I heard the new XO just arrived. Won't be long before we get underway.
What's XO?
I just hope whatever Chovak
Executive Officer.
towards something good.
I was close.
That's the number one.
Gousing plasma manifolds. Hanging upside down makes me queasy.
You and me working together, we can tackle anything he throws at us.
Oh.
Your optimism is positively contagious.
Felt like the frame rate dipped there. That's fun.
Looks like we got here before.
Lieutenant Commander Chovak.
We were just looking for you, Commander.
Petty Officers Ed Solar, Diaz.
Oh, it's a Spock.
I was beginning to think you would be late.
Diaz, not Martinez. I don't know.
We are all hands on deck
Martinez
right
might be a
now,
different
which means if you
character.
are not at your post
Anyway.
at the appointed time, I do not have someone to replace you. A point I have been forced to make to Petty Officer Edsolar on repeated occasions.
Apologies for the delay, Commander.
I do not want your apologies. Simply see to it that it does not happen again.
So, I don't suppose you wanted us down here to check in before we go off duty?
Equip yourselves in EV suits to work on the exterior.
Like the fancy
of the
wood
hull.
paneling.
I need you to tune the structural integrity field for optimal performance. The subspace distortions.
Yeah,
and
that's a
ionic
very
interference
TNG
we are
era.
experiencing are preventing the proper calibration.
All right, Chris.
But this
Mumbles'
ship must
question.
be ready to depart
You're on a
shortly,
Star Trek ship.
despite
What are
the
you
storm.
doing?
The precise nature of these disturbances is not fully understood. But many systems
In what
have
sense?
been
Like, what would I
affected by the wide
ideally
bands
be
of
doing?
this
What would I realistically be doing? What would I want
You know
to be
what?
doing?
I want you to shoot your
What
shot.
does that say about what
Yeah.
we can find when we head out there for real? Shouldn't we let this storm pass?
Make a stand.
Long-range sensors show
Ah,
that conditions will indeed
probably
be more severe
some
at
sort
our
of-
destination, the Hotari system.
I don't know.
Firstly, we are
Do they
taking
have
all
some sort of
necessary
like
precautions. You have
replicator
your orders.
programmers?
Do not delay.
I guess that's an engineering
Yeah,
job. I'd be somewhere in engineering.
All hands on
Okay.
deck.
Okay. Like working on the replicators.
All hands
So
on deck.
they have
That's
like
what
they
Chovak
have
said.
Well-
food replicator.
You know what that means?
I don't know. I don't know how much sort of like
Ready to go out
software
with
work there even
glass.
is on a starship.
So they're throwing.
They never really get
everything
into it in
at
Star Trek. The software
like-
on their computers is very vague.
Be damned.
Probably like
Oh,
navigation
there's
stuff.
We're the
definitely
ones who will get it ready.
like programming
I know what
involved
we
and
can
stuff
do.
like that. I mean,
You wouldn't be an
Isn't
work
just
core
any old
guy.
refit
You
or
would be
any
more
old
of a
relaunch.
like,
Whoa.
I gotta make sure the navigation shit is okay. I gotta make sure the system is working.
A lot of new faces.
Yeah, it'd be
coming
like
on board.
maintaining sensor arrays and that sort of thing.
It's got to be tough coming as a
That's cool.
replacement.
should be data then.
That's for sure.
But he was on the bridge. That seems pretty high up.
They seem alright. Something that happened 6 months ago while they were
You
off
start
on
your
another ship.
your shift first day, and you're like,
That's nothing
okay,
to
you're
guess
assigned to
at.
holodeck to holodeck
Yeah, you're right.
haptics, and you're like, is that
I
it?
guess
I'm
getting
like,
a
listen,
little new
buddy,
blood on board
we're
doesn't
not going
hurt.
to talk about this. We'll never talk about this. No one is going to acknowledge it.
Hold on.
But just FYI, this ship falls apart if the holodeck's haptics stop working. Again, we're not going to talk about it. Bye.
Without me, were you?
Miranda.
When you clean it
built this
out,
Doom
when you
device.
clean the holodeck, don't smell it.
Came in at the last
There's gonna be a canister. Don't open it. Don't smell it.
Looks like you got her back together.
These are the rubber waders you'll be
That
wearing.
is canon, actually, now. There's a bit in Lower Decks where they clean
Lower
out the
Decks.
holodeck biofilters.
They
I'm
let
gonna
it.
take the
Yeah,
high road
that's pretty
here,
awesome.
pretend you didn't say that, and welcome you aboard.
He's a better diplomat than I am.
I just like the idea that instead of 3D printing a critical piece of infrastructure, someone just sets up one of the holodeck force fields to manifest a field outside of the holodeck itself to hold something critical in place, and if the holodeck ever gets turned completely off, the ship just explodes.
I'm
God,
fairly
fucking
certain that was
nightmare.
actually a plot point in more than one Voyager episode.
Here, let me help you.
You imagine you take over a ship from like a previous captain and find out that like he had the holodeck illegally jury-rigged to replace like half the furniture and electricals in the ship.
Good to go.
Holodeck fails and all of the furniture in your quarters just vanishes.
It's like it's the space equivalent of like
See you on the
fucking
other side.
previous owner whenever you move into a house.
Activating magnetic souls.
The captain and his crew took the ship out, and it just got completely destroyed in some battle, but instead of being able to come back and be honest about it, they just replicated half the ship and act like it's totally fine. The saucer's actually gone, but we just pretend like there's a saucer because it's just a hologram projection.
We actually replaced the captain with a hologram captain. Wait, you replaced the guy with the hologram captain? Did he die? No, he's just in the holodeck. He's busy.
Let's go.